Please welcome the chairman of the Windham School Board, Mr. Rob Breton.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Forgot how short I was, evidently, Bob. Good evening to you all. On behalf of the Windham School Board, I'm honored to welcome you to the graduation of the class of 2017. So I will be brief, but I do want to go off script just a little bit, which I know is going to drive Mr. Dawson crazy, but I just want to take a moment to thank you, Bob, for what you've done here at this high school. At a time when this high school was in sore need of stability, you provided it, and so we thank you very much, and you will be missed. I know we're all anxious to get to the main event, the moment when you will become graduates of Windham High School, and it's hard now to imagine that there was a time when those words could not have been uttered. Close to a decade ago, my son Zach, who was a student at the Windham Middle School at the time, and to give you a little context, we just celebrated his graduation at the University of New Hampshire, so the time really does go by quickly. We took a ride up here to see the progress that was being made as the high school was being constructed. It was an exciting time in our town. It was our first opportunity to have our very own high school. No longer would we have to send our students to another town for high school. Derry and Salem hosted our students for decades, and they provided our high school students with a very good education, and they're to be thanked for that. But the one thing that they could not provide was Windham roots. The opportunity to create an educational legacy within the borders of our little town was on the horizon, and Zach and I were both excited to see how things are coming along. There was a Jersey barrier at the bottom of what's now London Bridge Road, and it was meant to block access to the construction site. Zach was very disappointed, and there was a forlorn look on his face that quickly turned to one of nervous excitement and probably a little bit of fear as I pulled the car around the barrier and proceeded to continue on up the hill. It may not seem like a big deal, but anybody that knows me will tell you I'm a bit of a rule follower, and this was a little out of character for me. He said to me, "Aren't you afraid to get arrested?" And admittedly, I hadn't thought that far ahead. But of course I said, no, if they wanted to keep us out, they would have put up more barriers so we couldn't pull around them. So my first piece of advice to you tonight is, please do not ever employ that way of thinking. There weren't any consequences that night, but there could have been. So when we got to the top of the hill, the complete shell of the high school was in place, and it was really a sight to see. And I think this vision really made it real for Zach. He was more excited than ever about being part of the new school. And I was too, not just for him, but for all of the students who are going to get to live out this dream. So much has transpired since then. Windham High School is a well-established and successful high school. With the support of the town, it has become more than just the school on the hill and has turned into an example of all that is good in Windham. Far beyond just being a high school, it has become a community gathering place for athletic and academic events, theatrical and musical productions, and civic events. We've welcomed the sitting President of the United States and said farewell to fallen public servants, all right here on this hill. Dedicated and hardworking administrators, faculty, and staff have certainly led the way along to the path of success. Community volunteers as well. Let's take a moment to recognize all those people who helped you get here to this day. But it all began with those first students and all who have walked these halls since, including all of you. I hope that you felt that way all along, that you were an important part of what we continue to build together here in Windham. You have represented us well as Jaguars in the classroom, on the fields, and in the arenas and concert halls. We take great pride in that, and we owe you all a debt of gratitude. Thank you for how you carry yourselves, for your achievements, and for taking your failures in stride and learning from them. Thank you for your community service and for going above and beyond to show that you're not merely fulfilling a requirement for graduation. You truly care about your community, and it shows. After today, you are WHS alumni. Wherever life takes you, you will always have Windham roots. You are forever a Wildcat and a Jaguar. Keep us all informed on how your life is going, and please come back home whenever you can, because you are as much a part of Windham as Windham is of you. If we're lucky, many of you will return here and settle and raise your families. Please know and embrace that you will forever represent Windham to the world, and I know that you will do so just as remarkably as you have since that August day 4 years ago when you first got here. So my final words of advice tonight: be good and do good. Be kind and recognize kindness shown to you. Love and be loved. Congratulations to the Windham High School class of 2017.